Okay, should be good here. All right. What's up? Hey, all right. The Boxing Source checking in here, and I'm very thankful to have here once again. Hey, it's been some time since I've seen this brother here. Was September. Of course, he is the president of the World Boxing Council, Mauricio Sulaiman. What's going on, brother Mauricio?
How you doing, my dear friend? I'm so happy to be with you in the Boxing Source once again.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. Of course, we got a lot of things that's going on with the World Boxing Council. You have something going on right now, basically with the World Boxing Council Grand Prix, and you have the finals that's going on there in Saudi Arabia. So you could talk about that here to start off.
Well, this is the dream that my father, Jose Sulaiman, had for a long time. He was hoping always to do a professional boxing World Cup. And when everything was ready in 2013, the fighters were in Mexico City. It was going to be an unbelievable World Cup. Unfortunately, he fell ill. He got sick. He went to the hospital and passed away. Mm-hmm. It was finished. It was, the concept died in reality. And His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh took on, believed on the concept. And now the Riyadh season WBC Boxing Grand Prix is coming to the finals on December 20th. Featherweight, super lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight, from 128 fighters down to the finals. Mm-hmm. 8 fighters looking for the Jose Sulaiman Cup and a future in boxing. So many incredible stories we have seen in this process. It has taken a huge amount of effort, hard work, and dedication, but now it's here. I'm just very excited that it's happening, and the Zone will air it live. They have done an unbelievable job in putting it together. So here we are.
Yep, yep, we have the featherweight final there with Brandon Mejia versus Muhammad Kamili. You got there at super lightweight. Was it Muibilio Tursunov and Carlos Utria? And at middleweight, you got Dylan Biggs versus Derek Hormeleo. And at heavyweight, you got Kevin Ramirez versus Ahmed Kernjik. I think that's what his name is there. So yeah.
So you Bosnia, Argentina, Colombia, Uzbekistan, Canada, Australia, Mexico, and Italy. The world represented. The fighters, they won 4 fights to get to the finals. And it's just the level of competition has been tremendous. So we're very much looking forward for the finals.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And, like you were saying there with your father, Jose Sulaiman, there, we had the quote that you posted on the World Boxing Council website, WBCBoxing.com. He had, quote, "The boxer is the best representative of what is needed in life to succeed. He is noble, dedicated, and disciplined, has had to overcome obstacles since he was old enough to know, and his pride and need drive him to superhuman efforts to become someone in life." There, could you expound on what your father Jose said there?
My father, he was born in a very small town in the province of Mexico, and when he was a child, he suffered from discrimination because he had Lebanese blood, and in school he became friends of boxers, so he immediately got into boxing and learned the unbelievable abuse and sacrifice that the fighters have to go through in life. And he started boxing as an amateur. He suffered a broken jaw, broken nose, so he had to stop boxing, but become involved with the boxing commission. in every capacity imaginable, from being the ring announcer, judge, referee, the assistant of the commissioner, then the state commissioner, national commissioner, and eventually president of the World Boxing Council. So his whole interest in life was always to change boxing, make it safer and better for the fighters, because of the way he described them, as you just said it, you put it. The boxers are willing to do whatever it takes to be someone in life, to buy a home for their mother, to give and provide for the family. And the WBC only reason of existence is the fighter, before, during, and after the years in the ring. So we have an unbelievable platform worldwide with thousands of people in the WBC working diligently to make boxing better.
Yep, that's basically what you strive for there with the World Boxing Council, and you have done it, here over the years, carrying on the legacy that Jose Sulaiman had there, with starting up the World Boxing Council, and you kind of exemplify those things in the projects, the various projects that you have there, like WBC Cares and other things like that, and also having an annual convention, which you were able to complete here. What was that, about almost a couple of weeks ago there? So could you give a summary of what happened there at the WBC convention?
It was a great convention in Thailand. We had almost 2,000 people from around the world gathered together. There was a lot of work done. We had the medical committee. They did a workshop with more than 100 doctors from around the world. And we came up with a very aggressive plan of action for 2026. One of the key topics is weight. I'm trying to I lost my word. The system fighters used to weight cut, and lose weight is dangerous at that. So we are going to have an aggressive year trying to determine the proper weight category for each individual. There are fighters that fight in the correct weight category, and there are some fighters that sacrifice way too much to make a weight, and that dehydration and problems in the future in their kidneys, in the liver, in the heart. So we're preventing in a very aggressive way everything that has to do with dehydration, rehydration, and weight cutting. We also looked into what happens in the gym must be reported. If there is a knockout in the gym, it has to be reported to the Boxing Commission. Many of the injuries that happen in fights come from prior injuries that happened during training or during their regular normal life. We have a very interesting technology. We have a BoxMed application, which is an app for every individual fighter, where they can monitor their weight once a month, but also they have so many features that they can benefit from that platform that the WBC has created with Conexión Fácil, Mr. Kluger, who is a hero of everyone. He has spent millions of dollars creating this application for the WBC and for boxing. We had a lot of technology presentations. Fight Book, a platform for the boxing industry, Ready to Fight, with Alexander Usyk and his team having this great technology. RG, which comes as an option for promoters to put fights on a streaming, and so many other things. Technically, 5 judges, the enhanced boxing program, which is a new system for scoring fights, which in the near future we're looking to implement in the WBC, because the judges currently only score the rounds numerically 10-9. 90% of the rounds are 10-9. Whether you won by one punch or you won in a heavyweight in a manner, the round's still 10-9. We have a 30-second buzzer. Before the end of the round, the buzzer sounds and the activity picks up. We introduced the 12-ounce glove for the heavyweights, and so many different topics that we addressed. A lot of ring officials. We had 324 ring officials doing the seminar, the training, the certification. We had the awards of the year. We had the ratings and the mandatory sessions. And it was just an overall unbelievable experience.
Yeah, and you covered a lot, there with this particular convention. And one thing that stands out, that you were talking about is the whole thing with like the weights and safety of the fighters. With like for example, with world title fights, they have weigh-ins at certain periods of time, to keep track of what's going on with the fighters, days leading into the fight. So you would have like for example a 30-day weigh-in, a 15-day weigh-in, a 7-day weigh-in, and then leading into the actual weigh-in, the day before the fight. So that kind of like goes into what you're trying to implement there with the safety of the fighters. But also like as you mentioned, there are some fighters that do come down from for a considerable margin. Like say for example, 20 to 25 pounds in order to make a certain weight class. Like they would come from say like 165 to make 140, you know what I mean, or something like that, or 160 to make 135. You're trying to implement a system to where they don't have to, or the fighters have to be at a certain weight before they could pretty much compete at a certain weight class there on that front.
Yes, and we also do a arena weight where the fighter is waiting when he comes into the arena. We're taking this data for statistics. When we see a fighter that after the official weigh-in he goes up too much, then that's a signal that we have to look in those kind of cases. But it's a long process. The most important thing is the safety of the fighter. Prevent when the fighter goes into the ring, have as the lowest risk for each individual.
Yeah, and you've seen like some instances where you have like a rehydration clause for world title fights and things like that. So kind of like following that protocol and whatever it is, but also getting it to the point where they don't have it to where they're like unsafe or not performing at an optimal level there on the day of the fight. So I think that's something that's of high importance there when it comes to the safety of fighters in world title fights, or fights there that involve the WBC rankings, whether it's like an eliminator, final eliminator, or something like that on that front. You would talk about also the thing there with the mandatory challengers. Kind of go through a number of those mandatories that you did name there within the divisions for the WBC.
Sure. In the heavyweight, Alexander Usyk requested a voluntary defense, which was granted. Caballel, who is the interim champion, is going to make a voluntary defense in January the 10th in Germany. And then after Usyk makes a voluntary, then Caballel is to face the WBC champion. Benavides requested permission to move up in weight to do a fighting cruiserweight while keeping the WBC light heavyweight championship.
Okay.
Same as Shakur Stevenson. He petitioned to do a fight over the weight. He will keep the lightweight championship. We have Adames making a fight in January. Then he will fight the mandatory Meirim. We have a sensational match. Sheraz will fight Mbili for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship. Mario Barrios is going to fight Ryan Garcia in a tremendous fight. And just a lot of activity. Worldwide, we did quarter-final eliminations. And there's just a great time for boxing at this time.
Yes, there is. There is. You talk about the thing there with heavyweight, with Alexander Usyk, being the world champion. At some point held the undisputed championship. He does have a voluntary defense. You did say there with the WBC interim champion there. He's having a defense against Damian Neva there January 10th in Germany. So that's one thing to look for with that WBC interim championship in the heavyweight division. And you talk about David Benavidez. I think that's interesting there to see if he can try his luck there with the cruiserweight division there against who is the unified champion at this point there at cruiserweight. Before saying, okay, if I win this, and I could be the champion there, WBC champion at cruiserweight, or have the option there at light heavyweight. And you also pointed out there with Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, going up in weight, fighting on January 31st in Madison Square Garden against Teofimo Lopez. And you also did mention there with Mario Barrios there in the welterweight division going up against Ryan Garcia. So, like you said, there's a lot of action there when it comes to those particular divisions. And we do have some upcoming world title defenses here before the end of the year. Like, for example, Naoya Inoue defending his world titles there in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So that's a number of things that's going on, within the WBC and, the mandatory statuses there. Also, including the Bridgeweight champion, Kevin Lerena, mandated to fight Riyad Murray. And, we had the whole thing that happened in December 13th there also with the cruiserweight division with Noel McCallion getting the win there by decision in California too. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that Christian and Billy versus Hamza Shiraz there. Yes. That would be for the the vacant title, whatnot, or whatever title that would happen there. Because Christian and Billy was involved in a really good fight there against Lester Martinez in September. So you can see another all action fight coming up once this fight gets materialized on that front.
Absolutely. Just the fighters around the world being active, and from Melvin Jerusalem, who is the strawweight champion from Philippines, all the way to Ukraine with the Usyk. So many boxing, and also the women's category. We have had a tremendous activity. We had Katie Taylor at the convention, who is one of the greatest fighters in history. Mm-hmm. And just very proud. Tomorrow there's a big event with many women fighting in Florida.
Yes.
In the part of Jake Paul against Joshua. Mm-hmm. See how it goes.
Yeah, there will be a couple of world titles being defended on that fight card there in Miami, Florida. So for those that's tuning in to Netflix and that type of thing for that event, they'll be able to see a couple of WBC world title events involved in that fight. I wanted to go back into the thing there with the number of either the mandatories or interim champions. Like you did talk about the thing there in the middleweight division. We got to see what's going on with Carlos Adames. You do have Abel Ramos as the interim champion. He was able to get that in his bout against Shane Mosley Jr. in San Antonio, Texas. But we also got to see what's going on with the super welterweight division. You do have world champion there, Sebastian Fundora, who did have an injury, so he couldn't fight Keith Thurman in October. So looks like they're trying to reschedule that. And then also it seems like they had something there with the interim champion, Virgil Ortiz, maybe had a petition to, have a defense against Jerome Boutsenis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, what has happened in that division, unfortunately, they've been on and off. First, Ortiz suffered a hand injury. Mm-hmm. WBC granted Fundora to do a defense while Ortiz recovered. Mm-hmm. Then Ortiz scheduled a fight, which he won against Lubin in a tremendous matchup. But Fundora got injured. So now both will have a fight. Fundora with Thurman and Ortiz with Ennis. And then both will fight. The winners will fight each other for the WBC absolute title.
Yeah, I think you're trying to get it within their schedules because initially, when you had the thing there with Virgil Ortiz Jr. against Erickson Lubin, that was like October 10th or something like that, and then it would have been like 2 weeks later you would have had the original scheduled bout with Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. So if you would have had
Yes.
those fights taking place and you had the winners, then they would be able to match up and have that for the full title there on that front. But with the injury, that kind of like threw off the schedule a little bit. So hopefully, we could like regulate that here, in the future there in 2026. So, but there's like a few other things here before we like wrap up. Now, I know that there was some comments in reference to what was going on last week in reference to the super middleweight division. And the person there in Terence Crawford like recently announced his retirement. But if you can, could you go into what was going on in reference to speaking with Terence Crawford and the WBC super middleweight title, and if anything about him retiring?
The WBC is all about the fighters. It is very unfortunate what has happened. All I can say, Terence Crawford is a tremendous fighter, tremendous champion. Now that he has announced his retirement, is a great, great accomplishment for a fighter to retire on his prime with money, with fame, with glory, with his family. Is the best scenario we as boxing can expect and hope for a fighter. I wish him blessings and a successful life now outside of the ring, and just to be a successful, happy human being overall. I do not engage on negativeness. I just wish him the best, and he's and will be regarded as one of the best champions. Tremendous career, undefeated, and goes on as an example to generations to come.
Yep, multi-division world champion, multi-division undisputed champion, and like you said, was able to retire undefeated there with Terence Crawford announcing his retirement on Tuesday there. So he had those comments there. Now, is there like anything that we may have not touched on here? Before we wrap up, you're there in Riyadh. You have the finals that's going on there. So folks tune in to that. That's going to be on the zone. And as always, thankful to spend time to having conversations with you. And yeah, that was some good food there that we had over in September in Las Vegas too. So I have to thank you again for that. You know what I mean?
Just one thing. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. We are being attacked as a sport by a group that wants to come in and bully their way in and disregard and be very disrespectful to everyone. I have no negativity. All I can say is the way boxing works is for the betterment of the lives of so many and not for the lives of a company. It is the fighters who went to the ring. And we will defend boxing. And regardless what happens with this group that is coming in, boxing will go on. Boxing without Inoue in Japan, without Chavez Canelo in Mexico, without Mbili from Canada, without Usyk, with Fury in the UK, that's boxing. And it is the young kids that have a difficult time growing up that look forward to winning the WBC green and gold belt, to winning other championships, to become someone in life. So nobody should be concerned. Boxing will carry on. It is a great industry. There are many great promoters, managers, trainers, and so many fighters looking for an opportunity. So everything will be okay.
Yep, like you said, I mean, boxing has been around, for over a century there, and you have something with like the WBC that's been established for a very long time. So while there has been, other people that want to get involved and maybe start up something there with the sport of boxing, you still have to have something where you could keep the integrity of the sport there in place for that, and that's the thing there that you continue to try to establish there with the World Boxing Council, and what you do there with multiple, like I said, multiple projects, multiple programs, and then also establishing the thing there with the rankings, the clean boxing program, and other things in place there with the World Boxing Council. You know what I mean? So, hey, as always, I'm very thankful that you're able to take the time here to speak with the Boxing Source, man. And we're looking forward to what's going on with the WBC Grand Prix, and also, looking forward to what's going on for the end of the year, and looking forward to 2026 here with the World Boxing Council.
Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to wish you and everyone in the Boxing Source blessings in the holiday season. Have a moment to bring and allow God to come into your lives. Be with your loved ones. Enjoy the moment. Be thankful and cherish what we have at this moment. You never know what next day is going to happen. And charge the batteries to have a great 2026.
Oh yeah. I gotta charge up. I need the charges. You gotta connect everything, and then also have some time to rest. It's been a good year, but also it could be a very packed year. So what you want to do is you want to rest and recharge, get ready for the new year with a new rejuvenated energy there. So thanks for the words there, Brother Mauricio Sulaiman, and look forward to speaking with you more in the future.
God bless, my friend. All the best to you and your loved ones.
All right.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.